springtime can oftentimes mean that love is in the air.
Love is in the air. Hello and welcome to the 15th episode, oh my god, of Goddess Hangs.
Episode number 15.
Woo! Should say, oh my goddess. Oh my
Oh
goddess.
my goddess. That's a new thing. I love that.
I'm
gonna tighten this
Sadie.
mic. I'm Juliet.
Oh my goddess. Obviously.
Oh my goddess, obviously. All right, let's just
Everything
hang out.
good?
Okay. Let's just move. It's okay.
That one, whenever I sit there when I'm on Craig's podcast, I cannot get it to tighten and it drives me mad. You really got to crank it.
All right, I think we're
Pretty
good.
good. Okay. Because he always is like, move it closer up, move it closer up. I'm like, it just falls. That's how it is. So what's going on? What's new with you, Juliet?
Well, thank you for asking. The most exciting thing that happened in the past week was you came over to visit.
That's true. I did. I saw Juliet's beautiful new place. Well, not so new anymore. It's been a few months.
We operate our business from this house.
Yes. From the beach bungalow.
Yes. And so we went to so this is the beach bungalow. Then my place is the city cottage.
Cottage.
The city cottage. So we have beach bungalow, city cottage.
Yes.
And it was so fun. Sadie did lots of twirls and skips and ballet. There's a lot of space in the living room.
A lot of space and wood floors. I miss having wood floors. When you're in your socks, you can spin around and
a lot of sliding. A lot of turns. So that was like the joy of my week. We also took some really beautiful photos
together. Maybe when we post this, there's going to be a new cover.
I hope
there might be. We did a fun photo shoot with Victor.
So thank you so much, Victor.
Who, by the way, is so cute, like how he hypes you up. He's like, yes, Sadie, looking cute with the hair. Yes, Juliet, do that again. Just so sweet.
He
just hypes you up the whole time.
He's just like the biggest hype man. Like, I don't understand how he wasn't a camp counselor.
He's like, yes, ladies, you're having fun. You're at a party. Dance. Everyone's having a good time. Now look at each other. Now laugh.
Oh, beautiful. Who's a goddess? She's a goddess. And I was like, Victor, thank you.
So sweet.
So thank you to my sweet boyfriend, Victor, for hyping us up and taking such great photos. And another exciting thing is we really sat down and thought, what is the visual? What is the brand?
We're getting our aesthetics.
So you may have seen a lot of bright neon pink, which we love.
Yes.
But we're going to graduate onto
a more like dreamy,
ethereal.
Yes.
Welcome to the goddess lounge.
Yes.
kind of vibe. Come out, hang with your best friends, talk to a spirit, do a spell, and have a snack. That's kind of
have a snack.
Stay a while, invite a friend.
Yes. That's our new vibe. Not new vibe, but we're leaning more into it. It's hard running an Instagram with two people both posting to it. So we were like, okay, we got to sit down. We got to make a plan.
Sadie's like, I'm going to kindly tell her to stop using 18 different fonts.
I have been learning from a new branding witch that I started following, and that I've, seen a big difference once I started getting more consistent on my page. And I was like, oh, we got to do this on Goddess Hangs. And I'll shout out, it's at Captolia.online or just online. But I just signed up for a course with her called Witch and Famous.
Witch and Famous.
That I'm so excited about. So we're about to blow up.
Yes. Maybe we'll collab with her at some point.
Yeah. I've looked at all the, students she's worked with in the past, and they're all like super successful business owners, and, their pages are growing really fast and all that. So just really excited to get to work with her.
Witch and Famous.
So watch out. It's
so exciting.
Be super fun. Yeah.
So we want to thank everyone who's been with us from day one with a lot of excitement and very little branding direction. And now here we are blossoming
into our own.
Into our artistic, witchy goddess page.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, Sadie came to visit, which was so fun. We did some photos. We reimagined what the future of the page will look like. And we bought a king size bed.
Yes.
which is very exciting for your girl right here who likes as much space as possible. I want to sleep in a bed where I don't even know you're in the same bed as me. I was honestly researching.
The opposite, but we can talk about why in a little bit.
I was researching. They have Alaskan kings, Montana kings, Wyoming kings, like the size of this studio. And I was like,
so is the California king the very biggest? Because California is like the biggest state.
So, no, well, this is my understanding.
Oh wait, is Montana bigger? No, California is really big.
It is, but I think it's because
it's the shape of the state.
So a California king is a little. I know you tuned in for spells, but this is the difference between bed sizes.
I really am genuinely interested, and I actually want to know. So I'm sorry to everyone listening, but Juliet has to tell me right now.
Okay, so a regular king, which is why I picked it, is actually wider than a California king. So you get even more inches. You go farther away from me. So that's a regular king. The California king is a little bit narrower, but it's longer because on the West Coast, people are taller.
Oh, really?
They're models. They're tall. They're lean.
Oh.
So I think that's why they made it like, oh, California. It's like the...
Interesting. My dad needs that. He's really tall, and I just remember my whole childhood, his poor little legs.
Oh.
You know, going in there in the morning and like my dad's feet are like this far off the bed. He's just...
gosh.
That was what he had. I think he has a queen now. It's probably better, but he's 6'4", so...
Oh, he needs a king.
Yeah.
He can sleep diagonally on it.
And then what's a Montana and a Wyoming and a...
They're just bigger and bigger. You know, here, we will insert a graph for those of you who are curious of
those
different
of you who have
bed
now
sizes.
become invested. What kind of beds do you guys sleep in? Comment below. Let us know. And also, do you prefer to sleep close up to your partner if you live with your partner or sleep with them regularly? Or do you like them not to touch you at all night?
That's me.
That's her. Craig's like, whenever we go to condos or hotels that there's king size beds, Craig's like, oh, these are great, you know, whatever. And I'm like, absolutely not. Because he can get away from me. And then by morning time, I'm all the way on his side of the bed, snuggling him. And he's like, why are you on my side of the bed? And we get not in like a real argument, but like a joke argument. But he ultimately agrees with me. He's a snuggler too. So.
Oh, we're snugglers. But when it's time to sleep, if I was okay
I'm
with
an all-night
burning
snuggler.
up like an oven, he would be thrilled to fall asleep cuddled me every night. Yeah. But I am just not about that. So I say it's from friends.
I think it's more common to be like you. I don't know what's wrong with me.
But you're cute. Like, that's such an adorable, like, and we just want to hold each other all night. We're so weird. It's like, oh, stop it. Like, some of us have hot flashes.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be like fully snuggled, but I like to be like we'll not be holding each other all night, but I like to be able to kind of like be like this, just like,
oh my gosh, if
my shoulder touching his shoulder,
if his toe or his leg is even within 3 inches of me, I feel the heat.
Oh, he's just really hot.
Or me.
Or you.
I don't know what it is. But anyways,
I'm the one that gets really hot when I sleep. I've heard I'm a furnace, but Craig's really cold all the time, so it's fine.
It works out. I think I always romanticize that, like, oh, I just want to cuddle with someone until the sun rises. Yeah. And it's just, for me,
no, I should be, you know, it's not like this all night. I'm hugging if you were not watching, but it's like, it's just like up, you know,
beside.
I don't like being all alone in my bed.
Sometimes Victor knocks out on the couch, and instead of waking him up to bring him into the bedroom, I'll toss an extra blanket on and I'll be like, see you tomorrow.
That's so funny. You have a really big comfy couch. So.
We do.
See
but
that.
he knows. I'm like, as I like add like a heated blanket and I put like a, you know,
He's
a
like,
lavender mist. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to move right now? That's my one way of being a little sneaky.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Well, congratulations on your king size bed.
Thank you. I feel very bougie.
Yeah. That's why I would like one, is just the bougie feeling.
Right?
Because it's like, whatever.
Like, oh yeah, I just brought home a king size bed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it's not like a state of the art bed, but it's a lovely bed, and we've spent far too long talking about it. So
moving on. What else? Anything else new? With you?
Absolutely not. What's new with you?
Well, thank you for asking. So, okay, the first thing I wanted to tell everyone about was how I manifested my dream office. Wow. Okay, so I didn't move or anything, and I did not rent an office space.
Then how did you do it?
How did I do it? Let me tell you. Okay, so this was cool because we did last week's episode about manifestation, and I was, I've been doing all those steps to manifest my dream office. So basically, the podcast studio we're in right now is the podcast studio / office. And I have a nice big desk that I love. It's just a simple desk, but it's got lots of space. And when we moved here, Craig, I just have a laptop, a MacBook, but Craig's got like a full-on big computer. So that went on the desk, and it kind of became his desk because I don't like working in this small room. I like working in the living room with the big windows and the ocean view and just more light and air. Mm-hmm. So I've literally been sitting at the coffee table, like sitting on the floor and working at the coffee table, and that's become my altar / office, which is fine. I like sitting on the ground and whatever, but I was like, this isn't really like abundant vibes. So I've been meditating on, and I don't know why we didn't think this was an option before, but anyways, I'm like, oh, in our next place, like my desk is going to be in front of big windows like this. It's going to have the view. I'm going to be working, facing outside, all that stuff. I was visualizing it, seeing it happen. And then actually Craig to me said, hey babe, why don't we try and put your desk out here? I feel like it would fit. And all of the rooms in this house are kind of small. It's like it's a cozy beach bungalow, but so I don't know, we didn't think it was an option to have my big ass desk out there before, but I was like, really? Like, that would be fine to have my desk out here, like all that space? And he was like, let's try it and see. So we freaking did it.
Yay!
And that is an example of when you are manifesting something and you think it has to happen a certain way. Like, I thought when I move, this is what I'm going to look for. Mm-hmm. And then your brain, and in this case, Craig picked up on it, your brain comes up with a creative solution. I already owned the window and the view. All I needed to do was move my freaking desk over there. I just for some reason thought that wasn't an option because of our space, and it's actually great there and it's no big deal.
I love that. I love that so much. I think sometimes we think, oh, well, it's not, like, we don't even think what's possible, like, in our own current situation. Mm-hmm. We're so busy focused on, like, the future and what
looking
we want.
out and what it's supposed to look like. Yeah.
That was just like moving one piece of furniture to another room, and you're like, oh, I have my dream office. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and that's just the reminder, like, you're not supposed to know the how. You just kind of focus on what you want, and you get the inspiration and you take the steps, but don't get too focused in on, like, oh, I have to move into a new house in order to have that office or whatever. Let go of the how and let it come to you. So that was really cool.
That reminds me of when people are like, oh, well, when I move, I'll make my room look really nice. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I don't even want to decorate this place because I'll eventually end up moving. Yeah. It's like, no, but if
you live here now.
Yeah, like, make it pretty.
The other thing that I actually did, because I daydream about my dream bathroom a lot, because I can't wait to have, like, the dream master bath, like a separate shower and, like, bathtub, like a huge bathtub, and making it with, like, lots of plants, like jungly, like big crystals, lots of plants and all this stuff. And in this place we have one bathroom, and it's a tiny bathroom, it's a very small bathroom, but I was like, one day I was like, fuck it. So we have a little ledge, so I put all my rose quartz in my shower, and we have these hooks in our shower where we hang our bathing suits in the summer because we're in the ocean every single day, but that's not in use right now. So I've been hanging eucalyptus in there, and it's my tiny bathroom that I can't wait to get a bigger one, but I made it into my temporary dream bathroom, and it feels really good. I put a bunch of candles in there. Every time I shower, I light them. I've taken a bath in there, but I'm 5'10", and it's a small bathtub, and it wasn't very relaxing. It wasn't great. Most of my body was not in the water.
I wonder, are our bathtubs the same size?
I don't know.
Because I'm small. I'm a shorter person. Not really. I'm an average size person. I'm shorter than Sadie. I don't want people to meet me and be like, you're not that short.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love taking baths. And I walked in, and every time I walk into your bathroom, I think, oh, I love this. I want to do this to mine.
You should. It made a huge difference. I used to loathe that bathroom, and now I love it.
Wow.
Because it's just really small and cramped, you know, and it's like kind of an awkward setup. Maybe I have to do a video and show you guys. But
check our Instagram stories for Sadie's bathroom remodel.
Sadie's dream bathroom that's really, really small. Yeah, so still don't really fit in the bathtub, but sometimes I still go for it anyways.
And anything else happened to you?
Yes. Okay, this is a whole long story. Buckle up, everybody.
I'm ready.
Okay, well, do I start at the beginning or do I give you the end information and then you do that thing that they do in movies sometimes and you work your way backwards?
Oh, like the Tarantino?
Yeah.
I think you should just start from the beginning.
Okay.
It's too good to not just tell it.
I'm going to start from the very beginning, which is Craig always brings garbage in off the streets.
Oh, we're starting from this beginning. Okay.
I think this is to blame. I think this is to blame. Okay, so Juliet and I both are sensitive to energy and we can read energy and all that. And you do have to be wary when you're antique shopping or secondhand shopping. There is energies that are left on it, but it doesn't often bother me. I haven't had too many experiences. When I go into antique stores, I get a little overwhelmed. Have you been into an antique store since you've opened up to your abilities more?
Mm-mm. I used to go and I used to love it because I would be drawn to very specific things and I would feel like in my head I was playing a game like, oh, I bet I can guess who this belonged to. But now I realize I was picking. Anyways, this is not about me.
I went in one.
So and it was overwhelming.
Yeah, it was really overwhelming. But it was kind of fun because I was like, that's definitely haunted.
That'd be fun to go together and vlog it.
Yeah.
And they'll say, get out of the store.
I was like,
no filming.
I was like, do not even look at that thing. But most of it was fine. It was just fun. But there was...
Wait, we could actually go in, even if they don't let us film, we could take pictures of things and then
read
put
them.
it here and be like, this doll, do not buy it.
Don't buy this. There was one area, because you know how in antique stores people like buy their little sections and then put stuff in them, or they rent, so different people have different booth areas. And one of them was the most amazing energy ever. Like it was, I have no confirmation of this, but it was a single woman that like in her middle age like traveled the world and collected all of this stuff. I don't know if that's true, but it's true. And the clues being that there was all this stuff from all around the world, all this stuff, but I could like feel into her energy and she was just adventurous and didn't give a fuck that she like never got married or did this stuff. Like she was having the time of her life and I just thought it was cool. I was like, oh my God.
What a babe.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, Craig brought these lamps in off this street because he wanted a new lamp for in here or whatever. I don't know. He wants to bring in everything and see if he can use it. It's usually not a problem. I don't know what it was about. There was two and he actually only brought one in. I don't know what it was about this damn lamp, but I was like, it instantly gave me so much anxiety. It was such chaotic energy. And I was like, babe, I can't do this. Like that lamp is insane. That lamp is crazy. And he was like, well, let me at least just try the lampshade, all this stuff. I was like, whatever. It was in my home for a few hours until I finally was like, it's gotta go. I'm sorry. I know I'm crazy sounding, but just please listen to me. And then, so that night I burned 3 huge marks into my coffee table while doing my group spell, which then I redid because I felt bad that I had like this chaotic energy that took over it. So if you were in the group spell, I did it twice.
Like it seemed so peaceful.
I always clear the energy before I do a spell, and then I was like, all right, I didn't cleanse this, so I went hard and I cleansed the energy, and then I did it again, and then it was beautiful, and I felt everything I needed to feel, and it was really good. So, but I'll insert a picture here of the burn marks. It was crazy. And that's on me. I put the tea light straight on the coffee table, but I've always done that and it's never burnt the coffee table before. And then it happened like there was 3 marks. It was crazy. So
that darn lamp.
It was a freaking lamp, I swear to God. And then the chaos was lingering. The heater broke. We had a flea infestation, which was kind of ongoing, but it came to this like max where we were like, oh my God, it's everywhere. We had to like borax the whole house. Hot tip, powder borax soap. It's non-toxic. You can just sprinkle it all over your carpets and leave it for like 24 hours.
Oh, so you could like see them in the carpets and stuff?
We could see them like jumping.
Oh.
And they were on us.
Oh.
And like our feet were bit up.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really gross.
Lamp.
Yeah, thanks a lot, lamp. Everything just came to this like crescendo.
Okay.
And then, so then we're dealing with the flea thing. So I'm taking my 2 cats to go to the groomers. And so it's like this place 20 minutes away. The groomer itself is really cute and awesome. We love them there. They're the best. But it's in a not very nice part of town. And it's daytime. It's no big deal to go there and do that. However, we'll have to tell this. I'm going to circle back to a part of this story. That's why I was distracted. However, I dropped the cats off, no problem. Go back home, come back a few hours later, go in, get my 2 cats. They're super clean and happy. Everything's great. And then I come back out and I had locked my keys in the car. And I'm like, fuck. My keys are locked in the car. I have 2 cats. I'm in this parking lot in this kind of sketchy area. There's all of a sudden something's going on because there's these police whipping by with their sirens blaring. And I'm like, oh my God. Please, like, let that not be like 1 block down. Like, they're going somewhere farther. And then I'm calling Craig. He sends me to AAA. I'm on hold. This is about 20 minutes of me sitting outside. And I'm like, oh my God. My car is still running. Wait,
it took you 20 minutes to realize the car was on?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me that part.
I'm just chilling. I'm like, because a car, sometimes if it's just idling, it'll kind of like rev up a little higher every once in a while. And it did that. And I was like, there's another car near me. So I was like, oh shit, is someone in there? Like, maybe I can ask them for help. Like, maybe they know how to break into a car. I almost went to the groomers and was like, does anyone here know how to break into a car? I don't care.
Anybody have that like stick thing?
So then I was like, God damn it, my car's still running. I can't get through to AAA. I don't want to keep waiting on hold. So I finally just call an Uber and I Uber home and I abandon my car running in a parking lot.
All because
of a lamp. I don't want to blame the lamp, but I can't help but think it had something to do with it. And then Craig, I got home and Craig came home because Craig couldn't come help me because he was like an hour and a half doing a podcast with friends. So he's like an hour and a half away. When in LA, it's like 18 miles, but an hour and a half. So he couldn't come help me quickly. So then he gets home shortly after and he needs to, I have a spare key here. So he has to drive me, but he has to record his podcast first. So I left my car running for like 4 hours.
The polar bears will be so sad.
And then I went to get it and it was still there and everything was fine. That's that story. But
so don't bring lamps in off the street.
Yeah, be careful what you bring in off the street, Craig.
Do a quick little energy read, see what you think.
Yeah, it was complete. But this was so this was cool. I have more to my story. I'm sorry. This was something cool. The signs that I was thinking about and I got really distracted. I have a history of locking my keys in the car with the car running. Let me know. Comment below if you've ever done this.
Comment below if you've never done that.
Are you Sadie or are you Juliet?
Yeah, who are you in this scenario?
Sadie or Juliet when it comes to sleeping with a partner and Sadie or Juliet when it comes to locking your keys in your car. Let us know.
With the car running.
Yeah, with the car running. That's
an important
specific detail. But so this was really interesting. Whoops. So a while back when I was talking to medium Megan, our past mentor, and she was it was me, her, and my mom having a conversation. She was connecting to my mom and she said that my mom was saying like pray the rosary and go read the Bible. And so I grew up Catholic and I don't feel I definitely feel a connection to Christianity, but not to Catholicism. Like, that's just not for me. More of the Catholic Church as an institution, because they don't take care of problems. But anyways, I'm not that drawn to like religion. You know, we're both very, very spiritual, but I find religion kind of like inhibiting. Like, I think spirituality is so much broader and further than that. But my mom is pointing me towards these things that are, you know, sort of religious, praying the rosary and reading the Bible. So I was like, all right, like, I'll give it a try. And so I have been reading the Bible a little bit here and there. And one thing I kind of discovered in it, when you read it from a different point of view as then like being forced to as a school child, I noticed like a lot of stuff in there about manifesting and
really?
God wanting you to be abundant and things like that. So it's really interesting. I'm like, oh, it's all right here. It's just told in, you know, the Bible is very much like parables, like stories that mean something else. And you just, when you read it with a different mindset, it's cool what you discover in it. So that's been really interesting. I haven't prayed the rosary yet, but my cousin just gave me one. So I'm going to give it a shot and see. Because I think I have always felt a call to connect with Mother Mary because, you know, my mom has passed on and like that mother connection. So I'm interested to see if like anything interesting comes to me meditating that way. But, and then I had a reading more recently with, Jasmine, who her Instagram is at og.mimo, and she does name your price readings, I think, for the rest of March. So go check her out, because my reading with her was amazing. But it came up in her reading, this call to like religious institution, like church. And I was like, I just don't feel a call to church. Maybe I could try like a non-denominational one, but there was like this very definite like call to like an institution of like spiritual order, like order. Okay. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to keep an open mind about this. So I'm driving to the groomers, and we've driven down this road a bunch of times before, but I've never noticed this before. So I'm driving, and first what happens is I see a car passing me that's 444. And to me, what goes through my head every time I see 444 is, oh, my angels are with me. So 444. And then I immediately see 2222 as an address on the other side of me. 4 2s, 2222. Okay. And so I'm like, my angels are with me. I see 2222. And it's this, it says Covenant Church. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I saw like my angels are with me, and then this church that the address is this other angel number. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should look that up. It wasn't clear to me what kind of church it was, you know. Okay, maybe I'm supposed to look that up, whatever. And then I started going, no, I don't think so, whatever. And I pull up and I stop at a light, and I'm starting to talk myself back out of trying this church. And I look, and the sign, oh, okay, I need to preface. My mom always sends me butterflies, but I've been like kind of playfully challenging her lately, like, send me blue butterflies. I want to see blue butterflies. So I stop at this stoplight, and I look, and the street sign is Blue Butterfly Way.
No.
And I'm like, oh, God damn it, I guess I'm going to church.
So have you gone?
Well, this just happened. So this Sunday, Craig and I are going to try it. But I did look it up, and it does appear to be a non-denominational church that's just Christian and is very open to like generally just like loving Jesus, and that's it, kind of, you know, like it's more open and broad-minded. So I don't know yet. I'm going to give it a try. I talked to Craig about it, and he was like super excited and open to the idea. But my feeling is actually that I'm supposed to meet somebody there. I
was just going to say that.
There's somebody there that I'm supposed to connect with that is going to mentor me or guide me or some sort of opportunity. But all of that was it was like sign, just boom, boom, boom. I couldn't believe it. And so I was thinking about it all day, and I was thinking about this as I locked my keys in my car.
Oh, that's a good reason to be distracted.
Because I was so just like, I was like, wow, okay, this is interesting. This is really intense. It was a very like clear sign. So with that, I genuinely want to ask, I know I've been goofing around asking you to comment below, but we'll comment with all those things. But have you ever had an instance where the sign was like so clear and so obvious, and then maybe you even stepped back and doubted it, and then the sign was like back in your face again? Can you recall a time like that? And like, if you're listening, DM us or comment if you're on YouTube and let us know. I'm super curious to hear.
I'll think on that one.
Okay.
I mean, it's definitely happened, but
Yeah.
I don't know at this exact moment.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really interesting.
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to try church.
Take me to church. Remember when that was the only song that played on the radio?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Anyways, that was an amazing story.
Thank you. Long-winded story.
I love stories about haunted lamps and butterfly signs.
That was what my week. Yeah. Yeah. Haunted lamps and butterfly signs. And then we put the lamp back out in the street and someone else took them, and I felt kind of bad. But what can you do?
You mean you didn't smash it up into a million pieces and bury it? And that's okay. Maybe it got out.
I should have thrown it in the ocean. I'm just kidding. That's an inside joke that we can't share.
No, we can't get into that right now. I would never litter.
We do not throw garbage in the ocean.
No.
Whether they're cursed or not.
People are like, what are they laughing at? Join our membership. We'll tell you. No, I'm kidding. I don't have that yet.
Oh, the secrets.
So you mentioned butterflies. You mentioned freshly groomed pets.
Yes.
All of these things remind me of a little season I like to call springtime.
Oh, spring is in the air. I think at the time of recording, it's this weekend, right? Or did
so
it
it'll be like the day or two after the first moment of spring when this airs.
Okay, yeah.
So it'll be a little bit late.
Because it's the spring equinox, right?
Yes.
On Saturday?
Saturday or Sunday, but I think Saturday.
Okay, I gotta do a spell.
So you'll get it on so you'll get this episode on Monday. You'll be 2 days into spring. But spring is an exciting time.
Yes. This is one thing I do miss about living in seasons is the feeling of spring in the air. So we have it a little bit here in California, but like when you go through an awful winter and that first day of spring, there's the genuine skip in your step. And you really feel the like time of rebirth and transformation that spring is all about. It's very like potent when you go through a long dark winter. I don't miss the winters, but I miss that just feeling of making it to spring again.
Right. So it's a time of transformation, like Sadie just said, rebirth, growth, and also springtime can oftentimes mean that love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
Springtime. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about spring, but a lot about love, dating, relationships, and all that good stuff in today's episode.
Yeah. The love episode.
Love episode.
I messed it up.
That's okay. We rehearsed. No.
We rehearsed. We've sang that song a million times before.
So any spell recommendations for springtime? I think we all know like spring cleaning is a big popular thing. Any witchy spring tips?
I didn't come prepared for this, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I should have. No, I knew what we were going to talk about. So, I like all of the clearing stuff I think is really important because you want to start fresh, especially like if you're in winter and you're coming into this new springtime, like to clear energy, like literally cleaning, like you're saying, like spring cleaning, that is potent magical energy, is to literally like get rid of clutter, put your winter stuff away, sweep the floors, open the windows, dust every shelf. That not only like physically cleans your space, but energetically huge. I think it's important to like do some reflection, because if you've gone through like a long dark winter, again, I'm like, this is like, I don't go through this as much anymore in California, but a like allow spring to illuminate those spaces where you like felt the shadows take over in winter. I think winter is like the days are shorter. It's just dark more of the time. The sun's not out as much and it's not up for as long. So as the days get longer and the weather gets warmer, take time to like reflect on like what were those shadow sides of myself that came out to kind of play, but maybe not in such a fun way, but came out to play in the winter, and how can I address them and how can I face them so that I do get to be like reborn into this springtime.
And it's just, I love spring because like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, it's like very fun, like, oh, it's a new year, yay. But spring, it's like all the plants start, you know, their baby leaves come in and all the flowers, and I always feel like I have such permission to kind of like what you said, like clear out the old and just totally start over and set intentions. What do I want to manifest while the flowers are blooming? And you know, the flowers, I think it's like there's a season for everything, and so this is like a season to open up and grow. Yeah,
I'd say the spring equinox is like a really powerful manifesting portal, if you will.
Ooh,
because it's also the astrological new year, like where Pisces is the last sign of the calendar, and then Aries is...
Oh, we're switching into Aries. We're ending with the old man Pisces and going into baby Aries.
Yeah.
So really that's why it always feels new. Okay.
Yeah. So for us witches, it is our new year.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Rich witches.
Yeah, so I think and if you want to do like an intention setting ritual, I don't do them on IG Live anymore, but I did lots of intention setting rituals on my IG TVs in the past. So you can always look back on my Instagram to see like how to do a candle ritual to set intentions. But this would be a really powerful time to do that this weekend, or well,
this week.
I guess it was this weekend. Today, within the next few days. But yeah, it's just like feel like you have permission to be a whole new version of yourself if that's what you desire. Like shed the old you.
The snow has melted, and in Los Angeles, the purple tier has become the red tier for COVID safety.
Oh, is purple worse than red?
Purple is worse.
Okay, so we're going better.
I didn't know it could get worse than red. You'd think that red would be like the absolute worst.
Yeah.
But it was purple. Anyways, change is a-coming, and those were just a few little witchy tips for the springtime. But we really want to talk about love.
Love. What's being in love like, Juliet? No, sorry. The birds are singing, but also you're annoyed by somebody a lot. No, just kidding. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
When you're with somebody all the time. Well, I had a few things that I thought we would talk about in relationships. So I thought we could have sort of like almost like two conversations. One when you're trying to like manifest the perfect relationship, and one when you're like in the relationship.
Okay.
So which one do you want to start with?
Well, we'll start with the dating, because
Okay.
that comes first.
Yeah. What comes first? Dating. What is like your dating story been like a little bit, to give people an idea?
My dating story is that I would quote unquote fall in love like every 20 minutes with somebody different. I was very boy crazy. I think have like such an emotional, affectionate nature that I just wanted to like project it on everybody. Not everybody wanted that. And some people did. So for me, it was just sort of a lot of short adventures with a number of different people. And then as I got into my like 23-ish, 24-ish, I was kind of tired of that, and I wanted the real deal. And so I decided that to go into dating with just very different goals in mind.
Yeah.
And then I met my current boyfriend, and we've been together for 4 years next week. So I finally feel like I've been in a relationship long enough that I can chat about it.
Yeah.
You know?
The professional.
Because I was always like, well, I could give advice, but it's only been a year, you know?
Yeah.
So it was sort of just like me looking for my person so intensely, and then once I let it go and stopped worrying about it, he showed up.
Yeah.
That was my dating history for the most part. Yeah. What about you?
Let's see. I've had a couple boyfriends, but not that many. I always liked being single a lot. Like, I'm just like a flirty girl. Not anymore. Who do I even see? I only have my boyfriend that I see to flirt with. So, you know, and Juliet, I flirt with her sometimes. No. But, you know, I'm just not as social as I used to be. The same thing, I guess. Like, I was just like, loved the adventure of like meeting new people and having like flings and being in love for 2 weeks and then being like, on to the next one. But I did have a few serious boyfriends that most of the relationships would last like between a year or 2 years. And then I had one that I learned the most from, that dragged out for a long time. And it was like, I want to stress that this person is not a bad person, and nothing like horrible happened in this relationship, but like my most toxic relationship was the hardest to let go. Partially,
was that your like first like serious boyfriend?
It was the first one. Like, I had thought I had been in love before, and then when I met this person, I was like, oh, I've never been in love before. Like, this is what love is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have something I'll say about that after.
Yeah. So it was true. It was the first time I was truly, deeply, like, passionately in love, and we were toxic to each other. Like, I don't know. I need to look at our charts because I wasn't into this back then. I'd be super curious. But that relationship taught me the most about like myself, and maybe that's what it was meant for, was to we were so similar that we clashed in a lot of ways, but it was, now looking back on it, a way to like see my shadows in like another human being, and like where I need to do better, and like where I was fucking up in like relationships. So that was a significant part of my dating history, was one individual. And then I actually kind of moved to California because I felt like the only way to let go of that person was to move away.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Ran away.
You ran to a new beginning.
Yeah. It was just, and this person was with me, you know, when my mom was sick and when my mom passed away. So when you go through something that just huge with someone, it's hard to let that person go, because part of me was like, well, then if I'm not with this person, the person that I'm gonna be with and marry, like, they'll never have met my mom, and that was really hard for me to accept.
Right.
So it was like lots of reasons why I couldn't let it go. But then I was like, I literally decided I was gonna move to California, and then moved 10 days later. I just impulsively went.
I love that. I love that.
So I ran away, and I lived in Santa Barbara for a few years, and then when I moved to LA, I immediately met Craig. And it's funny because I was like, all right, like, I'm so excited to like move to LA and be single and meet new people and whatever. And then within 3 weeks I met Craig, and we've just been dating ever since.
It's when you're not really looking.
Exactly. When you let go. Because in Santa Barbara, I had fun dating, but the town got small quickly. Like, you just like all of a sudden know everybody, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to date any of these people and whatever. So that's kind of why I was like ready to be single in a new big city. And then it was like, oh, I have a boyfriend now. But we met on his birthday almost 2 years ago. And, you know, you're not like boyfriend and girlfriend immediately, but we've been spending time together since his birthday in May of 2 years ago. So that's my story.
Then I think I had this back and forth of like, I felt like I had to save him, and then the next guy wanted that guy to save me, and then the next, like there was sort of like the power dynamic kept switching. Yeah. And then I was over it entirely, and then that's when I let it go, and that's when I met Victor, who's like the love of my life.
Yeah.
Just the absolute, like, we both, like, what did he say to me once? He was like, wow, you make my dream girl like look like garbage. Like, you know, like just, and I feel that way about him, where it's like, wow, like whoever I envisioned I would end up with, like that guy's really lame compared to you.
I want to compare how Victor talks to you to how it sounds when Craig says something really romantic.
Okay.
I have this text message saved on my phone because it was from when we were first kind of dating, and it was so sweet. And he said, thank you for being so goddamn beautiful, my love, inside and out. Oh. And he sent the message, and then immediately he sent the message, you fart ass. And I was like, that made it cuter. It honestly did. So that's how my boyfriend romances me. Calls me fart ass.
I also think like it makes me so happy that we are both, and I'm not saying this in a braggy way, I'm saying this this is refreshing. We are both in very happy relationships. I think there's a lot of Instagram tomfoolery going on. And maybe it's just being intuitive. I feel like I can see through it. I don't know what my point is in saying this, but you deserve to be really, really, really happy. It really, really exists, and not just for a photo, like for your day-to-day life.
I think you hear so often, and people will post this all the time, and I'm like, the way you're talking about your relationship sounds like you should be in it, because they'll be like, love is really hard work. And, you know, we may be fighting. I'm exaggerating, but they're like, we may be fighting all the time, but it's all worth it, and blah, blah, blah. And I will say this, yes, like when you live with someone, it definitely becomes harder because you're always together and stuff. Pandemic, it's been hard in relationships. So I don't want to say relationships are not hard work. They are hard work sometimes, but most of the time they should be easy and fun and full of joy. Like if your relationship is hard all of the time, maybe that's not your dream relationship.
Maybe call it a day.
That was kind of like my toxic relationship. It was very hard, and I was just like, oh, but like that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Like relationships are really hard. That's what everybody says, and I'm like, why is everybody saying that? They're definitely hard sometimes. You go through cycles, you go through periods of time where you're like going through something, or there's a misunderstanding, or, you know, things happen. One person's stressed and the other one's on cloud nine, and they get upset that the energy is out of balance or whatever. Yeah, that happens. But most of the time, you should just be having a good time.
I also think that in our generation, difficult relationships were romanticized beyond belief. Like it was like the hot topic time of like, nobody knows what we've been through, but through thick and thin, like it was such a, all the songs were very much like so dire. And I remember that it was almost trendy to be like, you know, this guy just drives me up a wall and it's always wild, but like, you know, I would take a bullet for him. Like it was always like, why does it have to be that intense?
Well, some people are addicted to the rush of getting in fights and the drama and things like that. It's very, you know, I have friends that I've seen.
I have a great tip. This is my pro tip for
go skydiving instead.
For avoiding
if you need adrenaline.
Avoiding fights. So I used to pick fights about everything. Things that didn't matter. Things that now I don't ever pick a fight about. This is my trick. I hear it and immediately I feel triggered. And I'm like, that's annoying me. Then I go, why is that annoying me? Then I figure out why. And then I say, is it worth bringing up? And then I go, no, it isn't. And then I let it go. And then usually within 10 minutes, he'll come up and say, "You're so beautiful."
Yep.
Or, "Oh, I just love you so much." And then I'm like, thank God I didn't say anything.
I think that was an adjustment that I had to make when like living together. And I guess we moved straight. I have more to say about dating time, but we're talking about being in the relationship now. That was a hard adjustment, moving in together and not feeling like he was doing stuff to annoy me on purpose. Like before living in this place, Craig had a studio apartment that I moved into for a short period of time, and he was so orderly. Everything had its space. He was the cleanest, most orderly person alive. And then we moved into this house, and suddenly there's lots of space, and he is the messiest person alive, and I'm having a hard time with that. I'm like,
let it out.
Pulling my hair out. I'm like, what happened? I thought I moved in with like a clean freak. And it drove me up the wall, and we got in lots of arguments about it. And I just was like, I had this realization, like, he's not doing this in order to upset me. He's adjusting to a new space, as am I. We're adjusting living together in a new space, and acting annoyed and getting upset every single time I find something out of space does not help anything. Instead, if I just kindly remind him, or even just start putting stuff back and leading by example, that made a world of a difference. Once I just shut the fuck up about it and started just putting everything away, I think he started feeling guilty that I was always putting his stuff away, and he just started doing it. So, and I leave clutter out too. I'm not perfect. Like, we were both doing that. I don't want to act like he's like, a mess that I have to take care of. But just remembering, like, okay, you're not in competition with your partner. They're not doing things in order to make you annoyed or upset. It's just simply they're existing in their home. And like, I do that stuff too. So why do I hold him to a different standard than I hold myself? Hi, Boo. Boo's down here.
She's here with a little bow.
Boo, come here.
I love that she has a little bow.
But that made a big difference for me, was to just be like, stop being annoyed by everything. It doesn't matter. But it was bad for a while.
So I want to share, okay, there's a book that I read that I honestly don't even want to tell you the title of, because I took it way too seriously, way too literally. And it was the reason why I didn't text Victor first until 6 months into our relationship. Because I was like, I ain't moving a muscle. Like, he has to do all the work. So I'm not even going to say the name of the book. But there were some things in it that I think are really important. And in regards to relationships, it says the smart woman, or the smart person, the smart goddess, whatever, doesn't nag, she maneuvers. So there was one example of like, oh, honey, can you hang that picture up? And the guy's like, oh, no, like, I don't feel like doing that today. I'm very busy this week. Instead of nagging and nagging and nagging, you can say, oh, that's okay. I'll ask our neighbor, John. You know how quick that picture will go up on the wall? You know how quick that your man will take out his tools?
You're questioning his manliness.
No, it's totally fine. John said he'd help me anytime. And it's not to be manipulative, but it's like, I don't want to nag somebody to do anything.
It's funny. If I want Craig to do something like that, I just go, hey babe, you're my big strong man, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so can my big strong man hang the shelf up in the bathroom? And he's like, oh, you can't say no to that, because I just called him a big strong man. He's like, yeah, I will. And then he does it. Another good one. Oh my God, wait, I just oh, look at Boo's little bow. Look at everybody. She's so I don't know if you can see it. Here, I'll go like this. Oh,
she's ready for the ball.
Lion King, you. If someone's not watching, that's gonna be like, what is going on? We're holding Boo up like in the Lion King.
Another thing that I do, I didn't read this in the book, it's just something that I do. Victor's not going to listen to this, so I can say it. I'll thank him for things that he's not doing. So like he doesn't wash the food down the sink.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, I could be annoying about it, but instead I said, babe, thank you for always washing the food down the sink. And he
Reverse
said,
psychology.
he goes, yeah, of course. Anytime. And in my head, I'm like, you don't do it. But I just don't want to nag. I like to come from gratitude, or it's okay, I'll get somebody else to do it. It's no problem. That's a fun maneuvering.
I love that.
Or if he like leaves stuff, he has his own office. If he leaves stuff around the house, I just throw it in his office and close the door.
That's what I do in here, because the podcast studio is where Craig's closets are. So I just kind of set things in here.
So I like that. But my favorite dating tip, can I tell you my favorite dating tip?
Yes.
Of all time. This is like my, I kind of want to trademark this. If you are going in and you want the other person to treat you to dinner. Okay, so this is like a very man-woman cisgender example. This does not apply to everybody, but this is what I've experienced. So, you're at dinner or you're at a bar or whatever. The conversation's going great. You're sitting, let's say you're at a bar and they're sitting to your left. Whatever, they could sit on either side. But for the sake of this example, they're sitting to my left. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. You grew up there. Oh, I love that song. Like, you're like relating on all these things. When the bill comes and they put it in front of the two of you, all of a sudden, everything on the right side of the room is the most interesting thing. You don't even look at it. Oh, I didn't know that painting was there. Anything to your left, including the bill, is no longer of interest. And the longer you look away,
the better. The more likely that bill is already going to be taken care of.
And then you go, oh my God, what? You wait till the bill is already being walked away, and you go, oh, I was gonna go. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you.
That's good. I
didn't pay for one drink in my 20s.
This is part of being in your feminine energy, is being open to receive like that.
Yes.
I actually had a hard time doing that in dating.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I should teach a course.
Seriously, I feel so guilty. And I would always offer to, pay for half and whatever. A lot of the guys were like, no, of course not, But I was not in my feminine energy. The feminine energy is like open and playful and receiving, and I had such a hard time with that. But now, lucky Craig, we split like housing expenses and whatever. But he always treats me to dinner whenever we go out. He always pays, and at the beginning of our relationship, also like finances have changed drastically in the short period of time when we first started dating and now. So like he's just like doing really well. He's making a lot more money now. So I feel more comfortable, but like we would kind of take turns paying for stuff or whatever. He'd always offer, but I'd be like, no, like let's take turns. I know, but now I've stepped back and I'm open to receive. I'm very proud of myself.
I think that's a big message. I think it's interesting.
It's okay.
It's interesting navigating the world and dating and everything, period. But as a woman, it's like there is a balance between like being able to receive, being willing to receive, feeling like you're worth it, feeling like it's their pleasure to buy you dinner.
They should be so lucky to buy you dinner.
But then also being like a totally independent, like, I got this. So it's not about taking advantage of anybody. It's just about, I think.
And hey, if it makes you feel really fulfilled and badass to pay for the whole bill or pay for your half, if you're like in the situation where we're like straight women dating a man, like, do that. Obviously we're again speaking to our experiences,
right?
But,
which is just like a small piece of the many.
But my issue was like I would get this weird guilt thing where I couldn't. It was hard for me to receive, and I wish I would have been more like relaxed and open and able to. But now I have an understanding that it was just
I would go on vacations so I went on a trip with a group of people my age, and by the end of the trip all the girls were like, oh my God, I spent hundreds of dollars on food and drink, like all my money is gone. And I said, that's so weird, I haven't spent a penny. Because people were like, oh, I'll get that, and I was like, okay. It's just like,
I love that.
I think part of like being, whether it's financial or not. A relationship is a balance from both people of giving and receiving.
Yeah.
In many ways. And so
wink wink.
So, go into a relationship, go into dating, be willing to receive. Be willing to give, be willing to receive.
Yes.
I have some less spiritual views about dating and more like, this is how you weed them out. This is how, but maybe that's not what we do here today. But what else did you jot down?
Well, so something that I personally struggled with in relationships or just like with meeting guys, like I just like, I don't know, I like everyone. Like I just like people that I meet, I connect with people really easily. I'm both very social and very not social at the same time. But back in my day when I went out a lot. Back in my early 20s when I was out every weekend and meeting lots of boys and whatever in between those boyfriends. I found that like I would meet somebody and this is interesting because I would be able to read them so clearly and I didn't understand that as part of it, but I would try to like slightly shift myself into being like still me, still my, personality, but shift myself into this like alternate version of me that I thought complemented this person better. Like, oh, I'm so interested in that. Or like, I don't know, it's even hard to explain because it was subtle, but then I would get into these relationships, not really me. And then when I started resenting the fact that like, of course they think I'm really interested in something that I thought I was interested in and then I'm not or whatever. Then I start resenting the position I got myself into and then just get like upset or angry or just becoming more me and I'm not the version that I presented myself as. My point being, do not change yourself or pretend you like things or into some version of something that you think someone will like better, because you don't want to be with a person that wants to date a different version of you. I don't know why I did that. It was very strange. Like I just would like morph into this like,
I think it probably comes from a place of like wanting the other person to feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
And like,
it was like to support like them, like, oh, this is, I'm going to, I don't know, boost into like what you're all about. Like, yay, you're great. Me too.
I think there's also a belief that is a very like middle schooly belief of like my partner and I have to love all the same things. And I think people hold on to that for a long time because they're like, oh, you listen to this kind of music? I could never date somebody who listens to that kind of music. And if there was a Venn diagram of the things that Victor and I have in common, like there would be maybe 3 things in the middle. Like we have so many things that are different. And never once did I pretend to be like, yeah, like let's go skydiving and then I'll eat a steak. Like I just,
No, yeah, that's exactly part of it. Like I would be like, make myself get into certain things, like certain kinds of music, or even like start dressing different ways a little bit, like subtly shift into this like different version of me. And then I was like, what?
Right.
So weird. So my point is like, just be yourself as you navigate dating. If you're like looking for your partner, don't, just be really honest and be like, I don't like that, but I think it's cool that you like that. Or like,
yeah, don't fall into like, me too, if it's not genuine.
Yeah. I did that a lot. And then it's so cool to then, and this is part of what I want to talk about next, is just like, you have to love yourself so hard, so passionately. And you have to love yourself the way you want to be loved, because you're the example to the person that you're potentially dating or in a relationship with as to how to love you. And especially if you find yourself in a pattern of like manifesting relationships that all kind of go the same way, you have to take a look at like, is that something that is that a thing I think about myself? Is that a way I talk to myself? Like if you're with someone, I had one boyfriend that was always kind of leaning into the fact that I had anxiety and treating, like, babying me and treating, this was like the more toxic relationship I had, because treating me like, oh, I have to do everything for you because you're so anxious. Like, you're so anxious. I have to, like, do this and this and this. I have to baby you everywhere in every way. And it was like in a resentful of my anxiety. And truth be told, I'm not that anxious of a person.
Right.
I do have anxiety. It comes in cycles. But because somebody told me that, I became even more anxious. But that was the way I was looking at myself. I looked at myself thinking, oh, like, going into new places makes me anxious, so I can't go into new places. I'm gonna avoid that. I'm anxious around this and this and this. These things make me anxious. I talked to myself that way, and then somebody picked up on that and started talking to me that way. And that's not okay. It's not okay that he did that and leaned into that, but that made me examine, like, okay, how do I view my anxiety? Do I view it in a really disempowering way where I just can't do anything because I'm anxious all the time? And I was like, no, I'm not. That's not how I'm going to allow my life to be.
Okay.
So that was really interesting. And then when I, had more time on my own and all that, and I loved all of my interests and I loved all the things about myself. And I wasn't even completely all the way there yet when I met Craig. But the beautiful thing about Craig was that he allowed me so much space to come back into all of the things I'm passionate about. Because we had overlapping interests in the right areas that allowed me, like, we both, like, were into crystals and spirituality and that stuff. And that kind of led me back to my, like, witchcraft and things like that. Because I hadn't done anything with that since I was, like, a kid, really, like a teen. So it was really cool and very fortunate that I got to meet someone really before I was 100% there in loving myself and being 100% myself. And I was, just super lucky to have someone that gave me so much space and made me feel so comfortable that I was like, oh, I get to be me in this relationship.
Of all the things on your list of, like, non-negotiables, like, I want someone who's respectful towards me and my family and my friends. I want someone who is ambitious. I mean, like, whatever your list is, that is a non-negotiable, make sure you add on there someone who is totally supportive of me being my authentic self and growing and evolving over time. Because 4 years ago, I was a preschool teacher and I went to dance classes and I was a personal assistant and I was completely not involved in this world at all. And that's how he met me. And then my whole, like, world turned upside down for the better. And I'm bringing all these rocks into our house and lighting candles everywhere and putting salt in bowls. And he's like, okay, like,
he's like, fine.
If they don't have to be on board with it. They just have to be respectful and let you do you. Because as long as he's not insulting me or rolling his eyes at me or throwing my spells away or whatever, like, we're
blowing
good.
out my candles.
We're good.
Yeah.
So
that's I want to ask, I'll tell you my favorite thing and then I want to ask you yours. So my favorite thing about Craig is that he's the biggest hype man ever. Like, I have had a few ideas before I finally came to being the business I have now, and everything. And every idea I have, he goes, oh my God, babe, that's brilliant. You're going to be the biggest and the best at that and da-da-da. And he's genuine, like, I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I want to run, like, a spooky book club all about, like, horror novels and da-da-da-da. And he was like, that's brilliant. You could do this and this and this. Oh my God, if that's what you want to do, you can be the biggest and the best at that. And then I was like, it's kind of hard to always be reading. I love reading Stephen King and stuff, but it's hard to be reading it constantly. Right. So I was like, maybe I don't want my life to be like that. I was like, maybe I'm gonna make, like, candles or something. I like doing crafts. Maybe I'll do candles or crafts or something. He goes, oh my God, you'll be so good at that. Oh my God, babe, if that's what you want to do, you're gonna kill it. I can see it now. And he's just, like, genuine. And then I come here and I'm like, I actually want to be a witch. and teach people witch stuff and show them how to be their most authentic self and how, you know, how to be abundant and stuff. And he goes, oh my God, this one's it. That's it. That's what you're meant to do. Like and he's genuine. He's not just saying it, and it's the best. And he's just like, and he's always just, as I'm working, he'll walk past and he goes, babe, you're going to blow up. You're blowing up right now. Like he's just so like, he just looks at me and goes, oh, you're going to blow up. You're going to be the biggest, most famous witch there is.
God,
and I'm like,
I love that. I mean, you will.
It's just so cute and so genuine. Like he just believes in me so hard, and I'm so grateful for that, because I've been in relationships in the past where I just know I wouldn't be where I am now without that kind of support. Like I've been in relationships in the past where they would have been kind of like, okay, like not like poo-pooing it, but just being like, okay, like I guess you can do that, you know, just not. He's like, yes, go do that. That's awesome.
I love that. Because the opposite could be somebody who says, is that really practical?
Exactly. And that's what I grew up with, kind of like with my dad, like not to, you know, put him down, but he just wants my best security in mind. But I'm used to the man that goes,
is that really what you want to do?
You're still looking for a job though, right? My dad finally stopped asking me every time I talked to him if I'm still looking for jobs. You're
like, I have job security. I don't fire me.
Because I started telling him how much money I make. And he goes, oh. And he shut the fuck up. No, just kidding. But I just texted him, you know, when I had my first month of like, oh my gosh, I made enough this month that like for real life, like, you know, whatever. And I started kind of keeping him updated on like this course, like I sold this many spots at this much and whatever. I've just been sharing more in detail. And so usually his first question is, how's the job search going? And that has stopped.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
What's your favorite thing about Victor?
It's very hard to pick. He is like, if goodness and love were like a person, I think my favorite thing about him is he makes everyone feel like the most important person in the world.
That's true. It made me feel like that at the photo shoot.
He makes everyone so welcome. All he wants, like if my friends come by, he's mixing them drinks. He's cooking them dinner. What are we watching? Like he's so involved. He's always been like so kind to my friends, so kind to my family. He's attentive. He's so attentive to me. He'll like drop anything to help me with anything.
Yeah.
I've never felt more supported in everything I do, even if he doesn't understand it, even if it's not his speed. Like, you know, I come home and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna talk to dead people for an hour.
So could you just keep it down?
Yeah, and then after that, I'm going to work on some manifestation stuff with Sadie, and then I'm going to like go on the roof and talk to a tree. And he's just like, okay, cool. Like I'll see you in a couple hours. He's extremely non-judgmental. He's very open.
Yeah.
And I just never, I never believed that, like, that thing of like, you make me so happy. I always hated that phrase because I was like, a person can't, you have to make yourself happy. And I do believe that. But he makes me so happy.
Yeah.
He is such a happy guy. And his happiness has rubbed off on me. And I feel like, you know, 90% of my anxiety has... maybe that's an exact, maybe like 75%. A lot of my anxiety,
over half,
has gone down since living with him, since being around him all the time. He's very flexible. If I change the plan, which I hate when plans change, he's like, okay. Like, he has energy for days. I've said too much, but it's hard to pick one thing. Yeah. He's very special. He's very special. And I would like to marry him someday, but not right now. It's too fun. Just being a girlfriend. Yeah. I like being a girlfriend.
It is fun being a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I remember Craig asked me, he's like, just checking, but I can't remember which Hollywood couple it is, but they've been just dating for like 50 years or something. He's like, do you want to be like them, or do you see yourself getting married? And I was like, oh, I see myself getting married eventually. He goes, okay, just checking.
Well, you save on auto insurance. I learned that last week. They were like, are you married? You'll get a discount. I was like, that seems a little mean.
Because I'm a safer driver. I'm not married, but my boyfriend does drive me everywhere. So I need to get rid of my auto insurance. I never use my car. I need to get rid of my car. I should have left it.
I know Sadie was like, I kind of hope it gets stolen. I was like, I'm gonna send out a prayer for a car thievery.
I just don't. That's the third time I've used my car since living here, and I think I've lived here for 6 months now.
That's incredible.
Because most of the time, Craig and I do stuff together. You know, I want it because sometimes, or like if I can, I'll take his car because his just runs better. My car, the air conditioner's broken. It only blows out heat. It's awful.
Well, and now that spring is sprung, that's
this is details you guys don't need to know. But anyways, yeah, it's just funny. Literally, he drives me everywhere, or I drive his car. But if I want to come to you for the day and he's not with me and he might need his car, then I need my car. Or if I like go to Santa Barbara to see my family, I probably need my car. But I just haven't been using it, and I'm like paying my car insurance for no reason.
Here's a question. Bringing love and relationships back into the spiritual realm. Do you think that Craig is either... So there's soulmates, there's twin flames, and that's it. I made it sound like there was a longer list.
I think there's something... There's
Oh yeah, there's probably more. But...
I think there's one more. I don't know.
And a twin flame is literally like you in another... Like your total yin yang kind of. Yeah. And it can be a really fiery relationship that like you come together, you separate, you come together, you separate. Do you think you've met a twin flame? Do you think Craig is your soulmate? Do you think we can have multiple soulmates? Let's talk about soulmates for a second.
I think you can have multiple soulmates. And I know for a fact that my toxic relationship was my twin flame. I have no shadow of a doubt that was a twin flame, because it was such an intense relationship. We loved each other so deeply, and it was so hard to get out of it. I literally had to move across the country.
Wow.
And then he moved to New York, so we are literally on opposite ends of the country, because we agreed. We were like, we have to live far apart. Otherwise, we'll find each other. It's not an issue so much anymore. I've worked through tons of stuff. It got brought up in an Akashic record reading, my cord attachment to this person, and like how to let go of it, because we have a soul contract from 3 lives ago.
As one does.
Where we were in a similar relationship, so it just carried through. And so as far as I can tell, I've fully released it, but it's hard because I've thought that before, and then sometimes something happens where you get upset about something again. But now I feel pretty relaxed and chill about it. But for sure, that person's my twin flame.
Can it be a friend? Can it be, or is it usually romantic?
Twin flames, usually it's like very fierce sexual attraction.
I don't know if I ever met mine, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
When I was 17,
it's very
thought I did.
Difficult. But some people, spend their lives with their twin flame, but mine was very toxic and very hard to let go. And I don't wish that experience on
anyone. People are like, I want my twin flame. No, maybe you don't. Maybe what you want is
because what it is what I described is like that person is you, and you bring out the parts of yourself that you need to see and address, but it's like all that yucky stuff inside of you, so you both become toxic to each other. Like, I am not, you're my friend, am I toxic to you?
0%.
No, generally speaking, I am not a toxic person. That person makes me crazy. I was not like, we were both, it was both sides. It's not like him either. It was both of us become, and I know him with other people, and I know he's a good person and lovely and great, but when we come together, we're awful. But we're pulling out the shadows in each other.
Yes. Yeah. So Craig is a soulmate.
He's a soulmate. He's not a twin flame.
Soulmate.
He's the soulmate.
I think he's.
But I do believe that, like, you could have had, like, I think first loves are sometimes like soulmates that are kind of the ones you're not meant to stay with, or a lot of people do. But I think that, like, that's a soulmate of like a different kind of love. And then I think this is what happens to a lot of people from like who people I've talked to. You meet like a soulmate that's like your first love, and it's really sweet and innocent love usually, and then you grow out of it, and then sometimes what comes next is like the twin flame, and that makes you get the yucky stuff out of you. You learn a lot and whatever. And then if you make it out of that alive,
you get to graduate.
You get to graduate and you get to call in your soulmate. Now, you don't have to go through the twin flame stuff. Juliet has her soulmate and she did not have to go through that. You went through some gnarly
I went through a lot of gnarly stuff, but not like with one.
Yeah.
The gnarly stuff, I don't believe that was my twin flame. I think I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But it's so funny because I was obsessed with finding my soulmate. I mean, it was like my obsession. And then now, but now that I'm with Victor, like, we never toss that word around. We just don't say it.
Yeah, we don't really talk about that either.
It's sort of just like, it's so much realer than the idea I had that it would be. Yeah. That it almost feels kind of funny to be like, you're my soulmate. He's like, yeah, you know, yeah, I guess, sure.
What was funny is one time I was texting with Megan, Media Megan, another shout out for her. She was texting me, and she's so funny because sometimes just stuff comes through and she's always like, I hope it's okay that I say this. And I'm like, you can read me anytime, girlfriend.
I need to text Megan more often.
Yeah. But it was a day that we had like a group call, and I think Craig came in the background for a second and left, and then she messaged me later and she was like, I hope it's okay to tell you this, but like, I just felt Craig's energy with your energy, and it was so sweet and powerful, and you have like a deep connection that goes like farther than this lifetime, what some people would call soulmates. And I was like, oh my god, that's so nice, thank you, because you know, she saw him for 2 seconds, whatever, and so I told Craig that, and he was like, well, of course we are, babe. We never say that to each other, and that's like the one thing, but I was like, isn't that cute? Like, Megan said that. He was like, yeah, of course we are.
I know. I'll take a video tonight. I'll be like, do you think I'm your soulmate? And he'll be like, sure.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It was just really sweet because it was so casual. He's like, well, yeah, duh. It's like, oh. That's nice.
I love, they're the only couple that I genuinely enjoy being the third wheel.
Yeah.
Like, I'll follow you guys to do anything.
It's pretty entertaining. Oh my god. Yeah.
The other day, my friend, well, she was on the podcast. Irene came over and she wanted to watch the 2007 show Girls Next Door. Like the
people have been watching that lately. I keep seeing people tweet about it. Is it newly on a streaming service or something?
I don't know. It's on Amazon Prime.
I kind of want to watch it.
Oh, it's fabulous.
I remember watching it back in the day. I always loved the
sporty one.
The sporty one.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Kendra.
I
liked Bridget. She was very spirited. And she was getting her master's degree.
Oh, I love that.
And she had a cat and a very pink room. So, anyways, it was so cute because we were watching, and Victor sits on the couch with us, and we just all had the best time. Why am I saying this? Why did we bring this up? Oh, for third wheeling. I hope that I'm in a fun couple that's that people enjoy being the third wheel.
I haven't gotten to third wheel with you yet, but I feel like it would be enjoyable.
Oh my god, so fun. He was like, ooh, look at that outfit. He's like, are those flamingos? We're like, yeah. Something for everyone on Girls Next Door.
I love it. I need to watch that show. That was really entertaining.
I used to watch with my mom. It was like I don't know why. That's like
my friends used to watch it. It's so funny.
Okay, we'll end with tips to call in your soulmate. Tips to call in your soulmate. We have not premeditated this, but we're going to channel some good information.
Well, I feel like everyone says this, and it's the annoying thing to say, but it's true. It's all about self-love, because you have to become a magnet. You know, manifestation is becoming a magnet for what you want. So go back and listen to the manifestation episode from last week, and then apply that to your soulmate. And how do you get in the vibration of being the kind of person that's with their soulmate? How do you feel when you're with your soulmate? What are the things you do when you're with your soulmate? Getting in that, doing the things and being the things and feeling the things with yourself will make you a magnet for that relationship.
And I think when it comes to self-love, doesn't necessarily mean like you have to love every single part of your body, your face. Like, I think there's going to be parts of our, like, we're never going to, we'll always, you know, have some opinions on like, well, I wish this was different, whatever. It's really about like, I am worthy of and deserving of love. I would make a fabulous partner. I have tons to give. I am so excited to be loved. It's about worthiness component more than it is like you have to like every freckle on your body before somebody's gonna come and love you.
I think the self-love journey is lifelong. Just like the journey towards anything. We're constantly changing as human beings. We're getting older. We have to accept new things about ourselves, new parts of us. So don't feel like if you don't, like Juliet said, if you don't love every part of yourself or you're still in the process, that you can't find a soulmate until that's done. It's more about being in the vibration that you are, your intention is these things, I would say. It's like, it's about the intention. And that's what magic is just intention and gratitude. So set the intention and be grateful for being you. And that is how I, you know, if you want to talk about like a love spell.
Ooh.
I think I talked about this last week about my love spell that like went amazing.
Oh, the magnetism?
Yeah. But my intention is always just like, the more I love myself, the more love I receive, the more opportunity I receive, the more money I receive. The more I love myself, the more abundance flows in, abundance in all ways. So work on that. Light a candle. That's your intention. You know, rose petals are the frequency of love. Get some rose petals or some rose oil. Take a bath with it. Sprinkle it on a candle. Spray yourself with it. Whatever. But that's all that magic is just setting the intention and getting in the feeling that like that's all true. What would that feel like to completely accept yourself? What would that feel like to like love yourself passionately? And just sit in that feeling, even if that's not true 100% of the time, that's okay.
And to also, even if you just say it in your head to yourself, like, oh, I'm so excited to meet my husband. I'm so excited to meet my wife. I'm so excited to meet my soulmate. Like, it's just, I know every day is one day. I always thought that every day is one day closer. I always thought that.
And like, sit down, write down a list of the things that are characteristics of your soulmate. If you want a brunette husband or wife, write that down. Be open to other options, but like have fun, like create your soulmate, write it down, set the intention. Like I'm calling in, you know, things that have always been important to me is like being funny and a sense of humor. I want a funny boyfriend. I can't have anything less than hilarious. Ended up with the comedian. You know, I want them to be loyal and trustworthy. I want them to be handsome or beautiful. I want them to be, you know, whatever. You get to write it down and have the intention and get specific and like have fun and daydream about this person being in your life. Like daydream about them already being there. And they'll come.
Getting the feeling that it's already done. It says, we talked about this in manifestation. It's done. You don't have to cling to it.
I have a funny story about manifesting Craig. I just realized.
Let's close with that.
So, Craig's a comedian, so he's got lots of comedian friends. And so, you know, he's friends with some pretty famous comedians. And I was always a fan of one comedian in particular that since I was in high school, I always liked this one comedian, loved his stuff. And I would always joke around with my friends like I don't want to like date that comedian. I have no interest in that, but like I feel like I would like get along with his friend group. Like I feel like I would belong in that. That was my joke. I was like I want to be a part of the best buds group. Like that was my joke for like 10 fucking years. And now I'm dating one of the best friends and I am in that friend group, and that is absolutely bonkers to me and so weird. And I do get along with everybody great.
Well, you knew you would.
But I was just like, when I like met Craig and started dating, I was like, if freshman in college Sadie knew that this is where she was gonna end up, she'd be like, no. It's just really funny how you can speak things into existence. So be careful what you speak into existence.
I have an old boss that was such a brilliant manifester. She would be as a teenager in love with certain celebrities, and she would cover the walls with their photos, and she would have all their records, and she ended up seriously dating two of them. She was much younger than them, and then marrying the third. All three were ones that she had all over her wall. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
But she knew it. She's like, I just manifested it, and she just said it like it was not a big deal.
And that's in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She lives nearby. Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. I never thought I was gonna like live in LA or anything. I'm pretty cool if like if 2010 Sadie graduating high school could see me now, she would be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That's awesome, dude." That's what I like to think about, is like little me being like, "That's what I get to do when I'm turning 30 soon. Thank God."
I love that. I think little Juliet would want to hang out with big Juliet all the time.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
thinking like 4-year-old Juliet.
Yeah.
Would be like, oh, these crystals, music, candles.
Be the version of you that Lil You would be so obsessed with.
Lil You. Give Lil You still in there. You just gotta give him a hug.
Who does Lil You look up to? They look up to you.
Yes. Well, we've covered a lot of ground on today's episode. Springtime, haunted lamps, leaving the car running.
Cats,
Soulmates.
love, twin flames.
Dating.
Ooh.
Little You.
And finally, Little You.
Lil You. Album dropping this fall.
Well, guys, DM us, comment below, let us know like what you think. I forgot all the questions I asked already. What was the one I wanted the actual answer?
Have you what's how do you like to sleep in bed with your partner? If you have a partner you sleep in bed with, do you like to be cuddled or far apart?
Do you lock your keys in the car with the car running, or do you not do that?
Do you not do that?
And there was another one that I was like, wait, actually answer this one. I forgot it. I hope you guys remembered and answered it.
Leave it in the comments.
It was an actual serious question that I wanted the answer to. I don't remember now. That's fine. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. What do we have going on? So I have a group spell new offering that's really fun. I did a group spell for the new moon in Pisces. That went great, although I had to do it twice because I lit everything on fire. Things are going to go smoother this time. And I have a full moon in Libra group spell that you can sign up for. What happens is a few days before the full moon, a few days before the spell, I send you instructions about the energy of the moon and what sort of intentions it would be, aligned with to work with for this new moon or full moon. So you'll get the energy report and like how to set the perfect intention for the energy of the planet right now. And then you'll get directions on how to activate your intention and do your own candle spell if you wish. But the great part is I do the spell for you. So you don't have to do the spell. You just have the option to. You get the directions. Then on the full moon, I will be performing a spell. While I perform the spell, it's really cool. I always can feel energy and feel messages coming through. And I pull a few cards, and then basically it's a group reading. So then the following, it's on a Sunday this time. So either Monday or Tuesday, you'll receive the message / energy report of while I was doing the spell, which is a lot of details. It gives you journaling prompts and things to look into. It was really, really cool to do this first one, and I'm excited about the second one. I have limited spaces and I already filled up a few spots. So go to the link in my bio if you're interested in that. We also have Ms. Juliet offering medium readings.
You can get a medium reading from me. There's a link in the Goddess Hangs Instagram bio link. We'll also maybe link it.
I've been linking them below.
Oh, okay, great. It's linked below if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then also be sure to follow my Instagram, juliet.piper. I'm sharing more stuff, more inspiration for artists, and more specifically intuition and artistry and how they go together, and how you can use your intuition to like really manifest things quickly and like move your career and your creativity along and kind of get yourself out of any sort of creative blocks, writer's blocks, any of that. So I will have some offerings soon, but I'm just working on them behind the scenes right now.
Yes. I also think you should offer readings where you can help people tap into their artistic intuition. Maybe next week she's going to tell you about that. I think there's something brewing there.
Sadie's been just guiding me.
I'm just like, you offer this now, Juliet.
It's sort of like how this all began. Like, we're starting a podcast. I said, okay.
It's happening again. I'm like bossing her around. It's fine.
I'm happy.
I'm just saying.
I'm here for the ride.
That's not a thing yet, but I'm thinking maybe you should help people with blockages and stuff. I think you could read their energy. Anyways, ooh. I do have psychic guidance that's also probably linked below, or in the Goddess Hangs link, or in my link. Follow me if you want to learn about how magic and mindset mix together. We like witchy, we like mindset, all that stuff. Follow our podcast Instagram at Goddess Hangs. I am Sadie Olson. We have at Juliet.Piper. What am I trying to say? Submit a form to 1-800-PSYCHIC-BABES to get a reading on the pod. We'll be doing that probably a few episodes from now again. We already have a few submissions, so
and
you can.
So much fun.
So fun.
And it's free.
It's free, and you have the option to stay completely anonymous or only anonymous to like the viewers. You can tell us who you are, whatever you want. So it's very like safe space to get advice from us. And I think that's everything. Is there anything else?
Keep an eye out for our cute new photos and posts. And we love all your comments, all your messages. If anything we say ever really resonates with you, touches your heart, blows you away,
tell us.
Send us novels and paragraphs. We love it.
We love to hear the deets.
Yes. Thank you for being a goddess, and we love you.
We love you. Bye.